Do we really have to leave? Do we really? I don't want to leave. I never want to leave. Seriously. Even the walls here light up. Like, how can you not love this place? Well, I suppose we have to leave because, you know, we had to see what's in this hole and blah, 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 blah. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to part 45 of EarthBound. Man. I don't want to leave, but I have to. We're tiny. We're tiny now. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Lost Underworld. The Tenda people talked about this a little bit. They said there were dinosaurs here, and as far as we humans knew, dinosaurs are completely, like, non-existent. But we shall see if that's true. We shall indeed see whether or not these people know exactly what they're talking about. But yeah, this is really weird, right? It's like I said, EarthBound is all about experiences, and this is one of them. So, this place is a little bit odd because, oh boy, look at this big boy. Well, for one thing, it's got the eagle orb. Seriously, look at this thing. It's a marvel, I swear. It's almost like it's almost like Master Belch in a nutshell. Seriously, it's got like a weird face and everything. It's so weird. But then again, EarthBound is very weird, so yeah, can't really be faulted. But over here, dinosaurs do indeed exist, as we have the Champa Sword. If you want a 1 in 128 item, the Champasaurus has a magic Frypan, which is one of Paula's best weapons. However, I don't recommend going after it. Well, it's simply because of the sole fact that in a little bit you'll be able to buy the ultimate weapon for, you know, Paula anyway. However, I wouldn't recommend doing like any sort of physical attack at all because these things, despite being dinosaurs, they have power shields. So yeah, be careful about that. Okay, let's do freeze gamma. Let's do that. Alright, we drained that from there, and there we go. Didn't get it the first time around, so whoopsie daisy. Now, every few seconds, the screen will stop and shake, and that geyser will appear right there. Or if you're a Xenoblade fanboy like I am, the geyser. I don't really get what the point of that is. I really don't. Like, it really only serves to stop you in your tracks. Like, I really don't get it. I honestly really don't. But what I do get is that this is a DINOSAUR. And with that, we've encountered every enemy in the Lost Underworld. Yeah, they don't really have that much variety in the Lost Underworld in terms of enemies, to be honest. It's like 2 dinosaurs and a really big orb thing. I mean, at least we know that dinosaurs exist now, so that's cool, but, you know, there are really only like 2 enemies here. And one of the best things about EarthBound, to be perfectly honest, is the uniqueness of the enemies. Like, we have like we got all sorts of things here in EarthBound. But before that, you're strange, but you smell good, so I'll tell you a secret. Did you feel the earthquake a little while ago? You know, we have earthquakes all the time here. After an earthquake, the hot springs will erupt. The blue springs are great for recovering health. The red springs are perfect for recovering paralysis or drawing out poison. So at least we know what they do and the purpose of that. But anyway, over here you got a parrot phone, which you can use to call mom, dad, whoever. I highly doubt that the Escargot Express and Mock Pizza would deliver here of all places because, you know, considering this place has been lost to the ages for some time, you would be impressed. But honestly, we never really got to see what the DINOSAUR can really do. So, in fact, we haven't even seen what any of these enemies can do. So let's give them a chance. Let's give them a chance to see what they do. So it can swing its tail very hard, which is their very strong attack. Typically, dinosaurs have really massive attack stats, so you definitely want to end fights quickly. So, yeah. Definitely take care of them, if you will. In here, you got a brain food lunch. And yes, there are items here. There are items down here. And, oh god. Oh boy. Oh Jesus. Yeah, and because you move, like, really, really slow, you definitely won't escape any enemies at all, so yeah, really the only way to move fast around here, and I guess this is for speedruns, is the fact that you can use Teleport Alpha in here, but it's kinda, sorta not recommended by me, because you'll move around so quickly in this place. Well, considering the fact that you're very small, you'll move extremely quickly here. And, you know, I just don't recommend it at all. Only use Teleport Beta. Anyway, you get a Seed Pendant right there. I would honestly recommend that... Wait, what was I gonna recommend? I recommend that I forget. I recommend that I forget. Yeah. That's totally what I meant to say. Yeah, but if I were to recommend anything, I would honestly recommend that you search every inch of this place. Because there is an item here that you definitely don't want to miss. If I can ever get to it. Because these freaking invisible walls are everywhere. Well, Guts Capsule, for one thing, you definitely don't want to miss. I believe with this, with visiting the Lost Underworld, now you're able to teleport to the Lost Underworld whenever you wish. Yes, you can. But it's just called Underworld, so that's not really teleporting to the Lost Underworld now, is it? No. Because there's a big difference between Underworld and Lost Underworld. Huge difference. I'm going to talk to that Tenda actually, because that's not a way around. I have to fight that DINOSAUR. So anyway, yeah, I didn't really get a problem right there. A chubby obnoxious kid from some foreign country said something heart-rending. So I'm healing my wounds in the hot springs. Seems like Porky's alive after all, yes. Again, if we're going by the continuity here, yes. But for the sake of, you know, this translation, we're going with Pokey. Because I keep forgetting. But yeah, Pokey's alive, yay. You guys smell really good! Sniff, sniff, sniff. Who am I? I'm a Tenda. Hey, what are you doing inside our dinosaur cage? I'm going to open the door, and you get out of there right now. I'm the boss, so I'll let you out. Thank you for the tender kraut. Thanks. The awful smell surrounding the group is now gone, so yeah, it's kind of a good thing that I didn't eat it. Thank you for coming to this primitive country. You must be tired to stay. It'll run you $400. Not right now. I don't want to spend my money right now. We made a cage for the dinosaurs and locked them all up. That's what my brother tells me. But I don't believe it. He's just spewing out his cake hole. You know, for such a primitive tribe, you learn a lot of modern speak, buddy. You really do. Let's play store. My friend Ego loves this game, so hi, may I help you? Okay. So the Holy Frypan is Paula's ultimate weapon. This is why I absolutely don't recommend going for the magic Frypan. You can do it for the money, I guess. But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend going after the stuff. You did realize Pooh can equip this. Do you still want to purchase this? Yes, I do. Because I just want to have it in my inventory, goddammit. Let's see. So you got the ultimate bat for Ness. Shiny coin for Ness. And Horn of Life, Mammoth Burger, Luxury Jerky, and Bottle of DX Water. So, let's see. I'm actually going to sell an item that I don't really need. I don't really need a rock candy, which apparently he's authorized to pay $19 just so that we can get rid of that. So, yeah, let's give the Holy Frypan to Paula so that she can equip that. Okay, so let's see. Can't stand quite up above. We established a separate tribe. Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot easier to live above. Yeah, let's actually read that again. Tenda who liked to talk came from the Lost Underworld because we couldn't stand the quiet up above. So we established a separate tribe. I hope that we can be friendly again someday. Yeah, it was a lot easier to live up above. Okay, so, yeah, let's buy the ultimate bat for Ness. Yeah! And we can sell the Hall of Fame bat for that. And, let's see. Well, the shiny coin is the only thing that we can equip onto Ness, actually, so... yeah. Let's do that. 170 defense. Very good. Don't feed the dinosaurs in the cage. The boss. Boss. You're a foreigner, aren't you? I'm a world-wide Tenda. I was an exchange student who traveled to a country that is known as an economic superpower. My name is Sticky. What? Sticky? Let me know if I can do anything for you. Should I loan you some money? So, this dude is the ATM. However, this goes into if you want to withdraw, I'll charge you a handling fee that is equal to the amount of your withdrawal. So, we have well over 150k in the bank. So, if we withdraw $1, we have to pay the fee of $1. Yeah, don't go for this ATM. Just teleport out of here and go to literally any other ATM. We are the same Tenda as those above ground. We seem different? Yeah, you know, the Tenda up there are shy and don't like to talk. Yeah, should we tell them? Didn't you think that Tenda up above have some particularly beautiful women? They're still shy, though. Yeah, you can basically tell that these dudes really, really like to talk. And according to EarthBound's lore, obviously, my lore is that my dad is one of the mountains. I don't get it. But whatever. So the lore is that, the Tenda were like, like, part of the Tendas were shy. Part of the Tendas were, like, not shies. And then literally everything else is also Tenda. I don't get it. But what I do get is that this is All You Need Is Love Valley. The trumpet place is filled with trumpets. And this little needle thing. This is weird. And, oh, that's weird. Look at that. Interesting place. Interesting. And yeah, by the way, yeah, that is another sound sample. All You Need Is Love Valley from, I believe, the Beatles? Yeah, it's the Beatles. Anyway, I believe the item that you don't want to miss is over here. The Cloak of Kings. This is Pooh's final equipment item. So, now we have the full set. The Sword of Kings, Cloak, Bracer, and Diadem. Pooh is all good. And I honestly really don't get why they couldn't just let Pooh equip any other item. I honestly just I really don't get it. Like, that's one of the reasons why Pooh isn't really the most exciting. Is because, well, he doesn't really equip anything other than the King's set. And he starts off so statistically weak. And you know, at first he seems like, you know, a weaker version of Ness. He's really good now. But it just takes him so long to get good. Maybe that's definitely the reason why, you know, he's not the most exciting. But, you know, he's at the very least, now he's very good now. In fact, everyone is looking good at this point in time. Like, Ness is our statued main character. He's our, you know, he's our good guy. He's our most offensive tank ever. Paula might be a little bit on the, you know, short side, but she's defensive. She can tank anything. Jeff can use a whole bunch of items, including the very broken multi-bottle rockets. And Pooh, again, a little bit weaker than Ness, a little bit weaker than him, but at the very least, he's the only guy who can do PSI Shield. You can do PSI Shield Omega and Brain Shock. So, yeah, that's very good. And also, so far, he's the only guy in our party to actually, you know, learn Teleport Beta, so that's very cool. That is very, very good. But anywho, I'm going to go over to that thing. No. Well, I mean, at the very least, I can just teleport over to the Lost Underworld. Let me actually show off what teleporting in here looks like with using the regular one. Yeah, see? It's kind of bad here. Using Teleport Alpha in this place is kind of bad. However, Teleport Beta is still viable. As soon as I said Teleport Beta is viable, it isn't. Well, it's definitely because I'm in an enclosed space. Why can't I go past these trees? Okay, fine. I'll take her. You. Paul is now level 63. Cool. But, yeah. Lost Underworld doesn't really have a whole lot going on. Like dinosaurs and stuff, but I will give it this. It is still just as exceptionally unique as every other EarthBound location that we've been to. It definitely is. It's the only place, actually, that is like this, honestly. It really is. It honestly is. Like, take into account everything that we've experienced so far in EarthBound. Like, Moonside, the freaky circus tents, the tent glitch. Like, given everything that we've seen up to this point, this is still just as unique as, you know, the rest. So, yeah, it is just as very cool as you might think it is. And again, this is the only place like this, so that's neat. That's very neat. I believe there's one item that we've missed here. So we are going to take care of that. And I believe it's over here. Oh, it's way over there. Well, good thing we got Teleport Beta to do our dirty work, I guess. Because teleporting to the underworld leads us to the first Tenda camp. And hard to believe that this whole place is just one gigantic dinosaur cage, am I right? Okay, so I'm gonna teleport there to... See? It's good for getting around places, yes. But terrible if you just want to just use random teleport if you don't have any PP on poo. And last but not least, this item is a Horn of Life. Oh, I didn't mean to teleport! I mean, I guess I didn't mean to teleport, but, oh my god. I meant to get around quicker, but, like... Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so, I guess while we're just going around, going back to, you know, that big Tenda village thing, which... I don't really get why the game doesn't just teleport you all the way over to the Tenda village when it's the first Tenda thing that we see. So, I guess while we're going over here, I guess while we're also trying to avoid the Eagle Orb again, ports. So, what I'm playing right now is the Super Nintendo Classic version of EarthBound. This is based on the Wii U re-release of EarthBound. The Wii U re-release of EarthBound is you know, it's like I said before, it has some changes. It has some interesting changes. Well, literally nothing has changed at all, with the exception of, well, those little blur effects that stand in for, you know, seizure effects. Because, you know, if you ever wanted to make a PSI attack go off, then, you know, seizure-inducing flashes would happen. And, you know, that could potentially cause seizures in sensitive people. So, every version at this point, the Wii U, the new 3DS Virtual Console release, and the SNES Classic version, they adhere to the Wii U's, you know, version laws that you need to have a blurry effect go on if you want to do some really weird stuff like that. So, that's all fine and good. However, there is actually one version of the game that is currently stuck in Japan because, of course, it is. That version is the Game Boy Advance version. I am totally going the wrong way to where I'm supposed to go. You know, I'll just teleport. I'll just teleport to where I'm supposed to go. I mean, besides, it's on the way there, and I do want to actually, see where I'm mapping out. Oh, turns out I was actually headed the right way. Well, crap. But, you know, the Game Boy Advance version of of EarthBound is kinda interesting. I know I briefly mentioned it before, but now I do want to go into it a little bit. So my history with Mother 1 Plus 2, which is the port's name, is, well, I've only played the Mother 1 portion. Yeah, I only played the Mother 1 portion of, that, and that was on my phone's emulator. Yeah, this was back when emulators was still, like, a really big thing. And EarthBound was just basically stuck in development hell, or re-release hell for so long. Yeah, I only played, like, EarthBound beginnings of it, so I don't necessarily have any sort of history with playing the Game Boy Advance version of EarthBound, but I do know this. The soundtrack was nerfed. Yeah, like, okay. So, that whole thing with the Game Boy Advance on how it ported some SNES games to the Game Boy Advance? And, ooh, the baddest beam. How can a harmonica freaking go from a harmonica to a beam? I don't get it. But I believe that's equipment for Jeff, so we're going to do that and absolutely not go into our items for that. So yeah, the whole trend of porting Super Nintendo games to the Game Boy Advance was a big thing. It happened to DKC 1 through 3. Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 got on there. Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island got on there. And I guess if you really count the classics, then there's that series of Game Boy Advance games that I really like called NES Classics, where they basically ported the NES games to the Game Boy Advance, and those were really fun. Those were really good. They're really good ways of introducing the new generation to the classics. I know I had Donkey Kong and Super Mario Brothers on there, and Ice Climber, I think. But anyway, and importing the Super Nintendo games to the level 62, Jeff, to the level 59, Pooh, to the Game Boy Advance. With porting those games into the Game Boy Advance, obviously the sound quality had to take a hit. Like, literally the sound quality did take a little bit of a hit. Like, for games like Mario World and possibly DKC 3, it's fine. But for other games like, the Final Fantasy series, where it's known for having really good music, you're gonna notice a little bit of a dip. And EarthBound's EarthBound's soundtrack was a little bit nerfed in that respect. Some songs got really axed in quality. Like, I do have I'll have a link in the description for samples of some songs that were nerfed in there, but oh god, you should really just listen to them. You should honestly just listen to them on your own time, because I'm not gonna make your ears bleed. I know one song in particular that's coming up later. I find that as sort of okay. I know that whole Battle Against the Machine thing is actually really cool. But, for the most part, the soundtrack is just not very good on the Game Boy Advance. It really just lends itself better to the Super Nintendo rather than, an inferior machine. But however you splice it, it's still a better soundtrack than what they did with Sonic Genesis on the Game Boy Advance and Sonic Chronicles on the DS. Those games have absolutely no excuse to how bad their soundtrack is. Anyway, now that we're all done with that, on the next time of EarthBound, we go into this cave. Because that's the only place that we haven't been to yet. Ooh. Okay. See you guys on the next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.